Welcome to part 4 of the tutorial. For this one, I will be showing you guys how to add the trim and the cord. At this point, you should have the top of your hoodie seamed up. And now we will just be adding the single crochet rows around the opening of our hood. And I will also show you guys how to make the drawstring cord. And then after we work these single crochet rows, we're just going to be folding it over and sewing it to the outside of our hood while we're threading the cord along. It's pretty easy and shouldn't take too long. So at this point, you should make a slip knot, and we're just going to be joining in our yarn. Your sweater should be right side out, and we're going to be joining our yarn to row 1 of the hood on the left hand side. So right above where the little V neckline and the hood meets, right there at row 1 of the hood, that's where we are joining. So you can just insert your hook and then yarn over and pull through, slip stitching to join. And to start off, you're just going to chain 1, and then we're just going to be working single crochet stitches. So work 1 single crochet stitch into that same spot, and then you will be working single crochet stitches evenly around the opening of the hood. So for this part, I ended up working 125 single crochet stitches, and it really doesn't matter too much your stitch count, but if you want the exact stitch count as me, I did 125. It's really okay if you're off by a couple of stitches, or you had to add more, or maybe you have a little less. It just all depends on where you're putting your stitches at, but aim for approximately 125 and just try and keep them even and work them evenly around. So we're going to go ahead and work up the first side of our hood, and then when you reach that seam at the top, just keep going, and we're just going to work down the second side of the hood until we reach the opposite side of where we joined. Okay, and then when you get to the other side, we're just going to be doing the same thing back. So you can see that I have reached the opposite side where the hood and the neckline meet, and then you can just chain 1 and turn your work. And now we will be working 1 single crochet stitch into every single stitch all the way across. So work 125 single crochets, and then when you reach the other end, just go ahead and chain 1 and turn. And again, you will be working 1 stitch into each stitch all the way across. And we're just going to be repeating this for a total of 6 rows. So work this row, which is row 2, chain 1, turn, work row 3, and do this for a total of 6 rows, all single crochet stitches, and your stitch count will not change. It'll stay at 125. Okay, so now I have my 6 rows complete, and now we will be folding it over onto the outside of our hood, and we're just going to be sewing it to the hood to create the little trim, and this is where our cord is going to be run through. So when you reach the end of your final row, you can just yarn over and tie off. And when you're tying off at this part, you'll want to pull through a lot of extra yarn, and this is the yarn we're going to use to sew the hood together. So just pull through maybe a little more than what you think you'll need, just so you don't run out, and then you can just go ahead and cut it. And then at this point, you will need your yarn needle, and we will just be sewing it to the outside of our hood. We're also making our cord at this point, so I'll show you how to do that really quick. You can use your hook and then just go ahead and make your slip knot. And for the cord, it is very simple. You're just going to chain 301. So you're going to make 301 chains, and then once you make that amount of chains, we will be slip stitching back down. So it's really simple. It may seem like it's going to take forever. I promise it's not going to. So go ahead and chain 301. Okay, so my chain is 301. And now we are going to be working our way back down. So in that second chain from the hook, I've just insert my hook, yarn over, and pull through, and we're just slip stitching. So now work 1 slip stitch into every single chain all the way back down for a total of 300 slip stitches. And this is going to be the cord that we use to thread through the hood of our hoodie. Okay, so I made it all the way back down to the end, and then you can just tie off. Make sure you're cutting your yarn enough, give the tail enough length so that you can weave it in. We're going to weave those ends into the bottom of the cord when we're done. Just go ahead and pull it through. And now we can use the cord and lay it out on our work. It's much easier to bring the cord along with us as we sew. That way we don't have to try and thread it in later. So you're just going to lay it on top of where we are working, so right there on the hood trim. And you can just take a few inches and lay it there. Make sure when you are working or sewing the trim down to the hood that you are not accidentally sticking your needle into the cord. We don't want to work our yarn through the actual cord. We're just laying it there so that we can bring it up and thread it as we go. So make sure you're not accidentally snagging it. Maybe tug it every few stitches and just make sure you're keeping an eye on it and that you are not grabbing that cord by accident. So using your yarn needle, you can just sew whichever sewing stitch you prefer to do, and just weave it back and forth through the outside of the hood. I'm putting my needle approximately right where row 1 of the hood trim meets the edges of the rows. And it doesn't really matter too much where you put it, wherever you think looks best or is most comfortable for you to thread. So I'm putting it right there, right where the stitches of row 1 meets the outer rows of the hood, and then looping it back through the last row, so row 6 of the hood trim, and then I'm just working back and forth as I go. And you don't have to thread it through every single stitch of the 125 stitches. I found that I didn't need to do that, and I skipped maybe every other stitch, or every couple of stitches I skipped a stitch, as long as there's no gaps and you're just threading it where you want to, wherever you think looks best. So just continue doing this. You're going to do it all the way around through the length of the entire hoodie. And I found this to be the most tedious part, but it looks so good when it's done. And as you're going, just make sure that you are threading your cord with you. So when you keep going, just bring it up as you go. And then again, just make sure you're not threading it through the actual cord and snagging it, because we want to be able to move our cord. Okay, so I've worked my way around the trim of the hood and I'm back down to the other side. I've threaded my cord as I went, so now it's already in there and I don't have to worry about adding it now. And at this point, you can just start weaving in your ends. So I'll show you how to do that here. You just continue with the yarn needle and weave it through the stitches. I like to go back and forth at least a couple of times depending on what I am weaving in. So do it at least 2 or 3 times. You don't want the ends of your yarn to pop out. So you can go up and then work your way back down. And preferably when you are weaving in your ends, you turn your hoodie wrong side out and you can weave them in on the inside just to hide them a little bit better as well. And then after that, you are all finished. You can just trim off all of the ends after you weave them in. And that is the end of my tutorial. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this crochet pattern tutorial, and let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and I will see you guys next time.